Hello lovers! In today's video we're going to be talking about the list. You know the list? The list is that thing that all of those relationship coaches out there, it's in books and magazines and everywhere. If you want to get out there and start dating again and you're ready to get on eHarmony or Tinder or whatever it is to go out there and find a mate to spend the rest of your life with, you need to make a list of the qualities and the traits of all the things that you want. That's a really good start, but I'm going to teach you today how to make the list that will lead you into a high quality love. A list that will bring in the deeper meaning type of relationship in your life that truly lasts. One that fulfills you deeper than you ever thought that you could be fulfilled before. We're going to make that list. That's what we're going to do today. So stay tuned because you're going to want to hear this. Okay, so you know the list, and probably a lot of you watching this video have already made your list. And if you have, I hope that you have it handy and you can pull it out and look at it while we're on this video, because it's going to revolutionize the way that you think about this list, hopefully. That's my goal. Okay, so we make a list. Maybe this list has things on it like this person's going to be successful, fit, attractive. They're going to love pets. They're going to love to recycle. They're going to be dying to go to the farmer's market with me. These are all really great things to have on your list, okay? They're normal, kind of everyday things that we want to have in a person, and maybe they're based on past relationships of things that people didn't like, or maybe they aren't. Maybe they're just something that you think that you would really like. But this list is very surface. No matter how deep you think it's gone, this list isn't quite enough. And the type of list that you need to be creating are, what are the things in me that I want to enhance with another person? What are the things that the other person is going to bring to the table that enhances my life in some way? Now, you're never expecting anybody else in your life to fulfill you, to change you, and to make you a better person. That is your job always, but another person in your life is an influencer. So what kind of influence do you want that person to have on your life? And that's the kind of list that you want to make. So here's a very good example from my own personal list. I want someone in my life that is so secure in themselves that they do not need me to be smaller in order to compensate for their insecurities. And what that means is that I can be free to be myself, and I'm not going to feel like they're upset if I'm overshadowing them. So I don't want to ever be made smaller. I want to be the empowered person that I am and feel empowered in the relationship, no matter what that looks like between me and another person. And that other person is going to appreciate how secure I am in myself and not be intimidated by that security. So another thing for me is trust. Trust is a very big issue for me. So I want to find someone, eventually when I'm looking for a relationship, who is so trustworthy that they know that there's no reason to ever lie to me. And that means that I will be a worthy person of their trust. And what that means is that they can tell me anything without me flying off the handle. Because when I tell them things that are true, I don't want them flying off the handle. So I don't want there to be anything in between the two of us where we can't share openly and discuss. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to get upset with something that they say, or they're not going to get upset with whatever their truth is. But the truth can always be spoken. It's an open communication of truth all the time. There doesn't need to be lies, deceit, cheating, any of that. Because if any of those things are to come up, we discuss them openly. So it's trust and communication. Another really big one on my list is I only want to be with someone who recognizes their shadow side and has integrated that into a part of their life. Now that comes with being secure in who they are. We all have some kind of shadow side. This is the skeletons in the closet, so to speak, but more of an internal thing, not just things that have happened that you want to keep other people from knowing, but more of that shadow side inside of yourself where you're like, oh boy, why did I think that? Why did I do that? Why do I do? We all have a shadow side of some sort. So you integrate that shadow side by making it a part of your life that is healthy. And I've said this before, but a good example of this is, let's say that you have a temper, and you know that you have a really bad temper, and so you're pushing it down all the time, trying to hide this temper from everybody. And maybe you even had to take some classes before because of some kind of abuse that you either did or whatever. And now you know that you have this, but you're denying it. That is no good for me. I don't want anyone that's denied their shadow self. I want that integrated. So let's say you have a really bad temper and you know that. How do you integrate that? Well, maybe you do mixed martial arts and you start really focusing all your force in mixed martial arts, or into a punching bag, or running, or biking, or whatever it is that person needs to do. I want them to recognize that they have a shadow side and that they've integrated that into something healthy. Now, what does that mean for my life? That means that I too have to know that I have shadows inside of myself, and I also must integrate that into my life. The other thing that I really want is for someone who can recognize where they've made mistakes in their lives and forgive themselves for it. And in our next video, we're going to be discussing forgiveness in a much wider way. And I want them to understand that there were wins and there were losses. Wins and losses. It's not all their fault. It's not all my fault, the things that have gone wrong in our lives. So, but that person needs to be able to take credit for the things they did wrong and forgive themselves for it. Just like I would have to take credit for things that I've done wrong in my life and forgive myself for it. I must take credit and forgive myself in order to move on. Now, all of this goes under the base of this is a person who knows themselves and is secure in that person. Doesn't mean that anyone's perfect. There are no perfect people out there. There are none. That is not what I want. I don't want someone who's perfect. I want someone who's secure enough to say, I'm not going to be so perfect in this scenario right now, and I want you to know that, so that we can deal with it together. So these are the kinds of things that you want to have on your list. If you already have a list, I want you to go down and look at it. Does it have things on it like, I only want to date someone who's never been married before? If you have something like that on your list, why? Ask yourself, why is that? Why do you want someone who's never been married before? Do you have problems with jealousy? Do you want to be the first person that they've ever been romantically involved with that intensely before? Or I know a lot of people have on their list that they don't want someone who's ever had children. Ask yourself why that is. There may be a very healthy reason why you don't want them to have children. Maybe you're at a place in your life where you want to be able to travel and be free and do the things that you want to do, and you know that children are going to bog that down. Or was it that you yourself were a stepchild and you don't want to be the step parent? That wasn't a great relationship. It didn't work out well. There are reasons why you have things on your list. Maybe you have on your list that the person that you want is going to love recycling. Someone told me that somebody had that on their list once, and I thought, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. Sure, why do you want that? Probably because recycling is a very strong value for you, and therefore, if they don't do it, it will offend you every time they throw a can in the garbage. So you're going to make your list. This list is going to bring you to a higher quality of love. And I think that hopefully when you look at it, you can recognize it and see why. Now, think about looks too. Now, for men, it's very okay, and it's okay for you to be focused on what a person looks like. You want them to look a certain way, but why do you want them to look a certain way? What is that? How is that fulfilling you? If you just want arm candy, is that really the best quality that you can come up with, that you just want to have other people envious of you when you walk around with this person next to you? If you say that you want them to be fit and healthy, are you really understanding that a lot of bodies that are fit and healthy aren't going to fit in that perfect size to mold? So what are your intentions behind the things that you've written down already on your list? Look at those intentions and see where it is, the reason behind what it is that you're writing. And is there something that you maybe want to think about? Maybe there's something that you're like, I don't know why I don't want anyone to have children. I hadn't thought about that before. I have my own children, so what is it that I don't want to integrate families? Why? Just ask yourself why. Know yourself well enough to do this. Our next video is all about forgiveness, and the forgiveness for yourself is the hardest thing that you will ever have to forgive. So I'm going to teach you how to forgive from the bottom of your own soul and in your own self, so that you can move forward finally and stop being stuck in places where you have not yet forgiven yourself for things that have happened to you in your life. I'm Jody with Enlighten Ya. Thank you so much for being here. If you got this far in this video and you enjoy it, please share it. And don't forget to subscribe if you really like it. I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.